All right, this is Stephen Key with inventRightTV. And during this video, we're going to talk with an entrepreneur that's launching his product. So please watch this video. Okay, everybody, Stephen Key. I'm back with inventRightTV, and I've got a special guest, Dimitri. Welcome to
Thank you.
inventRightTV.
I
Okay,
appreciate.
I've known you for a while.
Yeah, we've gone back. We go back at least until we talk about pre-COVID, post-COVID, right? It's
Yes.
kind of crazy.
And you showed me a product a while back, and I really liked it because I think it was just smart. It was clever. It had a wow factor. There's no doubt about it. And
Yep.
those are the type of products that are pretty cool. So, but before we jump in to your product, what made you become an entrepreneur?
I got to tell you, it's. I don't know that it was a choice. I mean, I always was a tinkerer. I always would look at a problem, and people would go by it and say, I'm not sure," and I'd be like, "Well, that doesn't look right. I think I could do better." And I was always able to fix and you know tinker is what it really comes down to, and it just kind of evolved. I never really chose to do this product. I never set out to do this. And I find sometimes more often than not, my inventions, they find me because of a situation that I look at. I say, you know what, this isn't right. Let's do something about it. That's what really happens.
Well, this product we're going to talk about, I like it because it has a wow factor.
Thank you.
I like it because it puts a smile on your face when you see it.
Yeah, no, I do. I think it's really a cool, simple idea that I took. My wow factor actually came because my father had something to do with the original unit. As a matter of fact, I think I might even
Okay,
have.
wait, but first of all, what is it called and what does it do?
Okay, it's called Genie Cone. And what Genie Cone is, in the simplest form, it's a hair accessory that comes in two simple parts. And I have a unit here. So what you're looking at right now is the base cone. This base cone has spikes in it with a living hinge and goes into a person's hair to create a hard-shelled Genie Cone, whether it be a high Genie or a low Genie Cone ponytail. And then simply said these covers that are able to be branded, marketed, or licensed, put anything on there, simply snap into place and click in. So you basically have a blank canvas to advertise or market everything and anything, and what I would call the third most prominent part of a woman's body.
Okay.
You're looking at face, and I hate to say it, but boobs, and then goes to your head, right? So why not right here have an advertising spot that basically you can literally put anything on in seconds with a heat transfer system. It's extremely cheap, mass production, and it's easy to do. And then of course we have an LED version, which is extremely exciting. I don't know if I had the LED version when we originally.
I don't know, but that
Well,
video, in fact, we're going to show all that stuff too. But
I'm going to show you something real
when
quick.
you
Just
see the lights, it's like, whoa, it just jumps out. I mean, you really want to have that everywhere.
Yeah, no, I appreciate that. I think it's a very cool product, and I'm looking forward to hopefully seeing you guys help me bring it to the market.
So
That's something.
let me see that. Do you have the one with the lights? Where is that?
Let's see if I have that one available. Of course I should have it available. The question is do I have a battery that will work on it, or is the
That's
battery?
okay. They're going to see it on the video. It doesn't really matter.
Yeah,
Okay.
it's on. I have something on a website too that you can easily look at if I'm able to do it. I just don't think I have the battery charge for it, unfortunately. So,
All right. So how did you come up with that idea? This is a woman hair accessory that flashes and brings attention to you. You're a man. How did you do that?
100%. So believe it or not, I'm sitting here. I had a workout machine, which is also available. You can check that out, a core development machine. And like everybody else, I'm watching the Shark Tank. All entrepreneurs, inventors, they want to watch the Shark Tank. And one of these particular shows just got under my skin where I was like, you know what, that inventor, good for them. They deserve it. But they're not that smart. Why can't I do something like that? So I come back into my office and I sit down and I'm just trying to ponder and I look around, and my father was involved in something in 1989 where the original was called Cone. This is it. This is the actual original one, the 1989 that was sold in Macy's and Bloomingdale's. They sold about 75,000 units in an 18-month period for about $2.5 million back in 88, 89. It was a tertiary business for my father, so he never wanted to do anything with it, and he had, put it aside. Fast forward 25 years later, I look at him like, you know what? My father who had passed away, I want to pay homage to him. Let me see. There's got to be something I could do with this. There's got to be something, but this is really dated, right? Listen, it's called cracked marble, so it's really dated. So I took a piece of paper and I cut it out and I put it on there. I put a little piece of tape and I started drawing little flags and bonsai trees and things like that. And Stephen, I don't know, but for the life of me, I turned it upside down and the cover fell off and hit my foot. I said, holy crap, an interchangeable cover base cone system that allows me to just do anything I want. How am I going to tackle this market? It's massive. So I decided to break the market down into 3 different distinctive age groups: 5 through 10-year-olds, 10 through 18, and 18 and above. So for the 5 to 10-year-old, they said, what can I do to make this fun? And I decided, let's do a customized ponytail holder arts and crafts kit. And what you're looking at is the first product, which is basically Genie Cone that comes with the base cone that goes into the user's hair. We give you 4 blank covers that have stickers and markers. And on the back, we also give you instructions along with a scrunchie and a loop tool. And most importantly, we give you a plastic template so you can go out and trace your own. So now this is a customizable DIY arts and crafts kit for all young girls to personalize their own ponytail holders. Then comes from the 10 and 18-year-olds, we do stuff like cheer and everything that has to do with high schools and middle schools and whatever's throbbing and so forth, heartthrobs and stuff. And then finally, there's casual fashion through high-end fashion for 18 and above, where the cones change from a plastic to a very thin alloy embellished with crystals and diamonds and all those other things. So I really decided that this was a market that I really wanted to start from 5-year-olds and go all the way up.
Okay.
That's how I created it.
Okay. Before we get into some of the manufacturing that you've got, because the package looks really good, by the way.
Thank you.
And that's not easy to do. Okay. So I know. Let's talk about protection. So
Okay.
everybody's a little worried about, people being, getting copied and everything on Amazon. So what did you do about protection?
All right. So I I contacted, I'm going to back up a little bit just because I think it's important. For my workout machine, I contacted an attorney in the city that was a patent attorney, a friend of a friend, but yet it still was ridiculously expensive. I had to do 90% of the work myself. And I did get
Oh,
that patent
okay.
over the course of, 3 to 4 months in terms of hard work. And then I applied, and a year later, it was a utility patent. But then we fast forward where I met from a common friend, Kevin Prince. And Kevin Prince is a patent agent extraordinaire. And he has gotten me 7 issued patents out of 8 attempts for different products. So we really tackled it hard. So for the Genie Cone, I tried desperately to get a utility patent for the plastic version, in which what I was going to do is the bottom of the base cone has a scalloped ridge, and then there's a dimple on the inside that allows for it to be pressurized so that when it clicks into the hair, it doesn't flop. It kind of stands straight up. We were rejected. I appealed it 3 different times for several $1,000s. I couldn't get it, but we said, all right, let's just settle for the design patent on the plastic version. So I have a fully issued design patent that protects the ornateness and the ability for me to make sure that no one can slide a cover onto a base cone. Then when I created the LED version, which was extraordinary and actually has even, I think, larger implications when it comes to public, venues and things of that nature, we applied again for a utility patent. And I did get the utility patent granted on that because we redesigned the way the light turns on because it can't be obvious. One of the things that people don't realize about patents is, well, just put a cover on it and it's totally different. Well, that's obvious. There's got to be something that's not obvious. So I created a different way of turning on and off the switch by snapping it down. So we were able to grant it. Then I went to China. I got a utility patent in China for this product as well. And then most recently, 3 months ago, I'm going to butcher this, but hopefully you'll fix it. In Europe, I got a utilitarian patent, which is 17 countries out of Europe granted.
Oh, okay.
Not the whole 30, but 17. It's called the utilitarian patent, and I can't pronounce it right. But once again, Kevin Prince was like, this is the avenue you want to go. And I went down it, and he's been not only instrumental on the US patents, but really able to help me on international stuff as well. So I was really happy about that. So those are my patent protections that I had. Now it's just a matter of making millions so someone tries to knock me off, right? And then you can use them.
Everybody, I've got another question for you. Where do you live?
I live in Bergen County, New Jersey.
Okay. Kevin's in Las Vegas.
Yeah.
Okay, so a lot of people think that I need to find a patent attorney in my town. Is that true?
Not even close. Listen, and forget about the word attorney. Here's a big thing. Attorneys charge a lot more He's a patent agent, but he is the best patent representative I've ever seen.
Yeah.
And I've gone through some of the big boys in the city, and I've rejected them after their $19,000 things. Kevin is extraordinarily fair, and he's very upfront about his pricing. You can't beat that. And he's good, and he cares. And one of the things about Kevin that I love is that as an entrepreneur and inventor, sometimes it's hard to describe what it is that you're trying to convey. And he sometimes gets it when other people don't. And he's actually corrected some of my drawings, like mechanically, it's impossible for this gear to go this way and to move that way. I'm like, holy crap, there's my dyslexia coming through. Let's flip the gear, and then the patent office is happy, right? So he's really good at when it comes to that, and I highly recommend him. He's extraordinary.
Yeah, I do. I feel the same way about him too. So, okay, so you've got this great protection. Manufacturing, that package. I mean, how do you do that? I mean, do you just go? Yeah, do you go to China, or do you just kind of call someone up? How do you do that?
So what you do is you find someone who's really talented at CAD files, and architectural files, those step, programs that allow China to be able to take whatever it is that you want, engineer to engineer. There's no language communication. It's just they understand it. And if you have a question, it's a mathematical formula and it changes. So I had a very good CAD person that designed this and worked with me. And then we submitted it over to China. A fellow entrepreneur, I can name him, you will know who he is, recommended this particular factory. His name is Don Brown, and you know him from the ab roller.
Yep.
But he was like, look, use this gentleman in China. He's hungry, he's good, he's fair. The man's been phenomenal. So we submitted it. I got some 3D printed samples just to make sure everything was good. He created the clamshell, which is what that cover is. And, I learned from Don, listen, make it simple, make it easy, make it understandable without words. So, the cone in your hair is pretty easy. The tough part was trying to convey that the covers were customizable. And that was something that we did by wrapping half the sticker around it and seeing bare half and sticker on half.
Okay.
So, but China is definitely tough to work with a little bit because of the time difference and somewhat of the language barrier, and Google has helped tremendously.
How important is getting good referrals?
Oh, listen, the adage they say, it's not what you know, it's who you know. Well, you know what? There's something really to be said about that, because you can go down an extremely dark road, and I've done it all. Listen, I'm going to joke with you. You can't have done more incorrect things than I have done in order to succeed where I am. But you know what? Everybody has to go through that curve. It's experience. You can't learn it. So if you have someone that you are recommended to that is a straight shooter, they just take thousands of dollars in months, if not years, off of this project. You know what? And here's the thing I would suggest to everybody. Doesn't matter who you are. You want accolade. You ask your friends. You ask your people that you love. What about this product? No. I want to know from somebody who doesn't like me. What do you think about this product? Because that's the truth, right? My friends are going to be like, it's the greatest thing since sliced cheese. No, it's not. You're just telling me what I want to hear because you're my close friend. Tell me the truth. And that's important when it comes to the referrals that you get. Kevin finally gave up with me one time trying to get this utility patent. After the third attempt, I was like, Kevin, what do you think? He's like, listen, man, you tried every possible way. You came up with ideas that I didn't think about. It's a no-go. Let's stop. Let's stop the bleed. And we did, so it really helps to surround yourself with a team member that, I look at it this way. If I can make myself the weakest team member, then I've surrounded myself by a really good team. And that's what I try to do. It's really difficult, but referrals are key. That's totally key.
No, that's really, really smart. The last question I have.
Sure.
Your products seem to are very. Are they connected? They don't seem to be connected at all. I mean, I've seen fitness, I've seen hair. I mean, where's the connection piece here?
Like I said, I seldom go out trying to find something to invent or redesign or fix. So I would say that all of my inventions and things, they come to me, they find me, and I actually try to discredit them for at least 3 to 6 months before I start diving in, because I come up with an idea so very often. Now, you may not be aware of it. I don't want to change it, but in terms of coming up with ideas, I came up with a device to scoop up sand and fill it in sandbags that is 10x compared to what you can do nowadays. So Currently, if you can visualize trying to fill up a sandbag, it takes two people. I mean, once again, this is completely different than a hair accessory product, which is completely different from a workout machine. And then I have some medical things and I have garden things and other things like that. But this particular product I thought of, and it's extremely new. And I only started really working on it as of January 15th, January 16th of this year, in which if you think about how to fill up a sandbag during a crisis or a flooding situation, it takes two people. One person holds the sandbag and the other person takes 10 scoops, because when you pick up the sand, most of it falls off into a triangular shape. So that's 10 scoops, or what I would call 30 full movements. One movement in, pull out is two movements, three dump. I designed a way for a single person to do it in 1 to 2 scoops in 5 seconds versus 45 seconds. And you guys are going to try to help market that. So when you want to talk about crazy ideas, I was sitting at a stoplight. I was watching these four guys ferociously trying to fill up sandbags in front of a flood, because this was a telephone transfer station that was idiotically put in a flood zone. So they wanted to put sandbags around it. And I'm sitting here at a red light watching this. And for 40 seconds, they couldn't fill up a sandbag, the two teams.
No,
So
I've
long
seen,
story,
no,
something had changed, and I
no,
figured out, let's use gravity. Let's
yeah,
figure
no, I've
this
seen
out.
what you've done. Why? Let's talk about that for a minute.
Sure.
You know what you're doing. Why are you having Gateway? That's what you're using Gateway. People are watching. Yeah, why? Why are you using Gateway? Because you've done this for years.
Yes, I have. But let me tell you what I'm really good at that most people are not. I know where my limitations lie. I know what I'm really good at, and I know what I'm not really good at. I'm a great inventor. I'm a good problem solver. I let the problems most often evolve so that the solution is mine out of 10 times, not what I originally thought. I can market material. I can do stuff like that. I fail miserably at knowing how to open up a door. I can close doors real easily. You get me in front of the CEO of a company that could make millions of dollars, I'll close it. But opening up a door is a talent.
Okay.
And I am talentless when it comes to being able to do that. So you guys, if you recall when we did this back in 2020, you didn't have the Gateway program. And I said, listen, guys, listen, I don't know how to make this work, but I can come up to everything. Everything that you talk about that everyone struggles with is easy for me until I get to the point where, boom, now how do I get this into the world? And I'm excited beyond belief. And I'll tell you, I stumbled across your video. I wasn't planning on it, but I just clicked on it. And I think Andrew was like, we now have this Gateway program. And I was like, are you kidding me? So it was exactly what I wanted. It's what I needed to get me to the next level. And I'm extraordinarily happy. But one benefit is because I have the history, I know this isn't a 2 to 3 month project. This takes 6 months to a year of patience. And
Yeah.
you got to have the patience. And some inventors don't, because they live and die by this livelihood of these products. And I'm lucky enough not to.
Yeah. Thank you for talking a little bit about Gateway. It is a new program.
It's
It's not that
exciting.
new. We've been doing it for quite a while, and we have relationships, I think, with over 800 companies now. But the companies love us
Yeah.
because they know that we're going to vet it. They know we're going to have the right marketing material. We're going to make sure it's spot on. We're going to get to the right people, the right companies, and they don't have to. I hate to say it. They don't. They like to deal with the company.
They don't want to deal with me. They want to deal with someone who's professional, who knows what they're doing, and also understands the time frame it takes to make these things happen.
Yeah, they seem to really respond because we tell them very quickly. We're going to save you time and money. We're going to show you products that fit your product line. We're not going to waste your time. And they're like, keep sending us ideas. So yeah, so thank you for mentioning that. Okay. Um,
I think it was going to work like a glove. I think we both fit very well in this
yeah,
puzzle. I created a product that has definitely got teeth to it. Every year, new women are born, so there's a constant flow. But I don't know how to get it to the players,
yeah.
and you
I
folks are going to be the
well,
catalyst to do that.
I've seen the product. It's brilliant, by the way. I have seen
Thank you.
it's brilliant. Hey, well, thank you for coming on InventRight TV and sharing your journey. I like your energy. I like that you're hanging in there tough, and I like that you've got a full range of stuff. I think it's I think you're like most inventors. You
Yeah, no. If I could give one last piece of advice that I have not followed, that I would, we talked about it a long time ago, and it becomes more prevalent every time I approach one of these inventions, is if you're going to fail, fail fast and fail cheap. Because I took a long time to fail on some of these products, and I look back at the money on it and I go, holy crap, I could have probably just invested that in a simple, S&P 500 more. So fail fast and fail
I'm glad
cheap.
I'm glad you said that because sometimes people get so emotionally attached to an
Yeah,
idea they just can't let go, and they don't really know how to do that,
yeah.
and they don't know when to kind of like, all right, I got to move aside. All right, inventRight TV, Stephen Key, Dimitri, thank you for coming on.
It's
You're
a pleasure.
awesome.
Maybe we'll do it again. I look forward to it. Enjoy the summer. Be
All
safe.
right. Okay. Thank you, everybody. We'll see you in the next video. This is Stephen Key, inventRight TV. Thank you, Dimitri. Okay, you've got a great product idea and you're not quite sure what to do. Or maybe you've got inventory in your garage because you were selling your product on Amazon and you don't want to continue doing it, but you want someone to help you license your idea to a company to bring it to market for you. We have a new program that's called Gateway, where we do all the work for you. We'll find the right companies and the right people to make sure your product is pitched correctly to get the licensing deal. This new program is called Gateway. If you're interested, please check it out.